Welcome to Darkest Dungeon. I will now play the opening cinematic for opening cinematic for you.
Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable house? Opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the moor. I lived all my years in that ancient, rumor-shadowed manor, fattened by decadence and luxury. And yet I began to tire of conventional extravagance. Singular, unsettling tales suggested the mansion itself was a gateway to some fabulous and unnameable power. With relic and ritual, I bent every effort towards the excavation and recovery of those long-buried secrets, exhausting what remained of our family fortune on swarthy workmen and sturdy shovels. At last, in the salt-soaked crags beneath the lowest foundations, we unearthed that damnable portal of antediluvian evil. Our every step unsettled the ancient earth. But we were in a realm of death and madness. In the end, I alone fled laughing and wailing through those blackened arcades of antiquity. Until consciousness failed me. You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the darkest dungeon.
Well then, grim and true, with the suicide of what is your uncle, or was your uncle, let's begin the campaign. I do have a good amount of experience on this. There are no saves on this computer, just because I had been playing through on my laptop. I had beaten all the bosses and gotten the majority of the classes up to level 6. But the last time I played was before the stun lock balancing patch. But without further ado, let us name our estate. We'll make it happy. For we want our men and women to be happy.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient, pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
My question is, why do I need to redeem myself? I'm doing your dead body a favor, Uncle. Well, let's move. Navigation.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Right. Here's our first enemy.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Just get... oh, dodge. That makes me sad. Just get some single target damage off on him, if at all possible. Oh,
Mortality
critical.
clarified in a single strike.
Oh, well. Oh, dang it, he got first turn too.
confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
That was rather frustrating. Right, well,
Leave
at least we
nothing
got some
unchecked.
good money.
There is much to be found in forgotten places.
Right, let's fight this fatty and that.
An ambush. Send these
Come on,
vermin a
man.
message. The rightful owner has returned,
This is still
and
the
their
beginning
kind
thing, and I'm
is
still
no
getting
longer
screwed over.
welcome.
Blanket fire. Luckily, it doesn't screw me over too much. Okay, dodge, thank you. At least you're giving me something to work with. Just hate that my guy's already stressed out as much as that.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
I've actually had both of them die on the because
Destroyed.
of bad RNG. It can happen.
A devastating blow.
Just for the record, don't open the chest. It is poison. There's absolutely no point in touching it. Right. Right. Robust. That is actually fairly nice.
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
Right, well, here is our basically activity log, as they call it. It'll tell you what has happened during the week. We have leveled these two guys up to level 1. Reynold has gotten fairly stressed, though. These white blips here are the amount of stress when it gets up to here. His resolve will be tested, and generally it'll turn out to be bad. Reynold is a crusader, and Dismas is a highwayman. Graveyard?
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
Well, as he said, that is basically the truth of it.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
You can just drag them over here to recruit them. It costs nothing. I do suggest, at the very beginning, you upgrade this twice.
Great heroes can be found even here, in the mud and rain.
RNGesus can be a bitch. There's no need to upgrade the hero barracks right now, and it doesn't matter if you did now or later. So just save your little deeds and crests. There's actually nothing else we can really do here.
A mecca of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
This team is actually fairly well balanced. We got a healer. Healer's abilities start with the Nuke Heal, which I like, and Judgment, which is good. These other two abilities are basically useless. Light Sensitive would be more annoying if it was a different class, but not to be bothered, really. This guy actually has some really good abilities, because he has Stun ability, Plague for the front and back lines, and a possible bleed ability. I like this a lot. Iron ain't too bad, and he got some good stuff here. Yeah, Dismas always starts as an M-Cheat, so he's not allowed to gamble in town, but he starts with some good stuff as well. Sadly, Reynold always starts with Kleptomaniac and God-Fearing. Kleptomaniac, prone to steal items, you will sometimes, basically you'll lose loot to him sometimes, and that can be very bad. But Warrior of Light is fairly strong. Okay, so our first mission will be within the ruins. So you're generally going to be fighting undead and cultists. Our mission is to complete 100% of the room battles. We do not have to necessarily go to every room. Just beat all the battles. And this will be our rewards. It's okay. It's a level 1 short mission, so not too much to expect from it. Let's provision them now.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
On the first mission, take around 12 food, 8 torches. This is just a suggestion. 2 of these, because you'll want to have shovels, because when you run across certain obstacles, it can be very bad not to have them. You don't need to take anything else, and I generally don't like to in general, just because they're so circumstantial a lot of the time, except for these 2, but you don't need them most of the time, so I generally tend to save money. Oh, pardon me. And eventually we'll be not even taking torches, hopefully, because dark runs are very lucrative. And once you have a strong enough team, there's no point not to do dark runs. Okay, well, let's just wait for this to load. Oh, loaded quick.
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
This is actually a very good layout, because you don't have to backtrack at all. And backtracking will increase stress. I'm not going to open that, just for the sake of not giving anything bad to my guys. Fighting spiders. I'm going to use Scrape Shot. This will hit all 3 of them, because they're in the 3 front spots. Hit all of them. That's nice. Stun me and marked. Marked means that certain abilities will deal more damage to him. Right now, I think you use Zealous Accusation and it will hit the first 2. But it's weaker than the single target smite. But it killed both of them anyway. RNG's favorite.
Blossoms.
That could have been a lot worse,
Confidence
especially
surges as the enemy crumbles.
because that gives them a chance to do a lot more damage. This guy will take 3 more damage over the next rounds. This will persist even after combat, but I don't think that it's worth enough to... I'll heal him actually. At least I resisted. Blight and Bleed can stack, and that's
Press
what you want
this
to avoid.
advantage. Give them no quarter.
Right, fairly simple fight. Packs are basically always safe. Yep, here's Kleptomaniac acting up. He'll take all of it. And so we lost out on some golden food there. Food I'm not so hurt about, but here we scout. We get to see what's going on ahead. We will be guaranteed to have a fight in here, but there's also treasure. And there will be a fight right here, and possible treasure right here. Possible treasure. And here will be a trap, but since we scouted, we'll have the chance to deactivate it. Yep. I do not like going after these when it is light, because you're most likely not going to have fun. Well, here's the cultist I was talking about. Alright, let's see if it bleeds. We resisted, that's good. Pardon me. I have a bad cough right now, it seems. Since they are not damaged enough, I prefer the single target smite. So we got rid of one. I prefer using Plague Bomb over Incision, if I can. Yes, though. And I actually screwed up. I should have gone for her, because she just is really inconvenient to have on the battlefield for long periods of time. Because of those types of abilities. She can rearrange your line just like that. And it's very inconvenient. This still works out though. I'm going to prioritize getting her killed. Better to bleed. Okay. He's bleeding now too. He will go for healing her. He can still attack her when we kill her. So this is working out really well. RNGesus is being very nice to us at the moment.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
This charm, or this...
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
I just feel like I can never talk over guys with good voices like that. This isn't very good. I don't think plus 10% blight resist is ever worth lowering a person's dodge. Let's rearrange the line back to how it was. Before going in here, I'm going to pop another torch.
As the light gains purchase,
I have a good
Spirits
chance
are
of
lifted,
surprising them.
and purpose is made clear.
See? This means all of my guys will get to go. I'm going to attempt to stun the back line. I stunned her, that's the most important. Honestly, I'm going to go for a hit on all of them. And I'm going to attempt a strike hit. There, one dead. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep him up, because he's been taking a good bit of damage. Okay, go for him, he's weaker. Kill him, there we go. Okay. Resisted, that's good. Nobody's hurt enough for me to want to heal. So I'm gonna do this. Oh, missed, sadly. Prioritize her, because she can mess up your lines. Those guys... These cultist brawlers are generally not as much of a concern. Blighted him. Blight's a lot stronger than Bleed, in my opinion, but
A trifling
stacking them
victory,
both can never hurt.
but a victory nonetheless.
We're getting a lot of these trinkets here. They're not very good, though. Hey, we got some gold and some heirlooms. That's nice. Got another scouting check. Nice. This will also be a guaranteed fight. But nothing to worry about, I'd say. I'm gonna risk it. Generally not worth it, though, in my opinion. Hey. On these, you can use the shovel to break it open. I wouldn't have done that earlier in the dungeon, just in case, but it does not appear like I'll have to deal with what I was worried about.
ambushed by foul invention.
Well, there you go. Failed to disarm it, took a bunch of damage. Oh well. Could have been worse, really.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Hey, here's our first hunger proc. You have the choice of eating. It'll consume 4 food, but everybody will gain 5% health. Starving, though, is very bad. 20% damage plus stress damage. So you don't really want that to happen. And kleptomaniac is happening again.
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
So, depending, I may have to just get rid of him. And depending on how runs go, that's definitely what you want to do. But if it goes well enough for you, you can keep him because he's not that bad. Once we get access to the sanitarium... No, okay. That's not good. Okay, so, we're going to want to focus on dealing with those two. Those crossbowmen, the arbalists, have a very high chance to crit compared to some other things. Luckily enough, we stunned. Hey, Graveyard Slash also seems to have a high chance to crit from what I've seen. Stressful Incantation does very little damage, but it does lower the light and increase stress. I'm going to focus on healing now. This is her primary reason I brought her along to begin with, anyway. Dodged. That's inconvenient. Oh, triple dodge. That is so not fun. I'm actually fine with that, honestly. Ugh. Mr. Plague Doctor's not having a good day.
A devastating blow.
But that crit's nice. Yeah, at least you can attack. Ugh.
Mortality
All these
clarified in a
crits.
single
It's
strike.
just No crits, please. All these dodges and misses too. It's frustrating as hell. Please resist. Aww. And Quarrel. Thank you. Well, let's try to get her down. Oh, she's bleeding. Only one, though. I'm gonna try to see if... Ah, she dodged. Let's see if we can get one kill. Now that he's at the front line, he can only use bayonet jab. So, he's basically ineffective now. But I will try to keep healing. And we finish him.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Well,
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
that's completing the quest. I do not feel like going any deeper because most likely just going to stress me out more or possibly lose somebody. So I'm just going to complete the quest.
Room by room, hall by hall, we reclaim what is ours.
I generally don't like clicking on these unless it's for the people who didn't get stressed out much, but just for the sake of gambling, I'll do it. Warren's foe. More stressed gotten the Warrens, but Clotter is very nice. This is very nice as well. That's gonna make money managing easier on him at least. Hey, overall, not bad. Warren Soap is a very easily deal with one.
My obsession caused this great foulness, and it is shameful that I must rely upon you to set it right.
Alright, quest goals. These are the bosses. They're basically different iterations of each other. That doesn't seem to have changed. And these are the goals for leveling up your characters. Tavern is now unlocked. Tavern and the Abbey as well are both places of stress relief. Some people have quirks which let them only do it in one of the activities in either, or completely disallow them from doing them. Say for like Dismas, he's a known cheat. That means he's not allowed to gamble in the tavern. He's too leveled up. Known cheat. So if I were to go over to the tavern,
Fresh kegs, cards, and curtained rooms promise solace to the weary and broken alike.
if I were to try to drag him in here, would not let me. But I could put him into either of the other ones. Before I do any of the stress release,
The cobwebs have been dusted, the pews set straight. The Abbey calls to the faithful.
or stress relief rather, I'm going to check out who else I could possibly acquire. Oh yeah, and one more thing, the caretaker will always take up one of the slots in either the tavern or the Abbey. Alright, nice. We got another Crusader. Fear of Beasts is definitely not good, but if we're just going to be sending them into the ruins, that's not bad. I will bring him on.
A mighty sword arm anchored by holy purpose. A zealous warrior.
Thin-blooded ain't too bad as long as you have a healer, and Runes Tactician is definitely good. Very good, as a matter of fact. Bring him on.
This man understands that adversity and existence are one and the same.
Sadly, this bounty hunter abilities are not conducive to having him in this third slot as much. Although, it will work out. The one
The
sad
thrill
thing
of
is
the hunt. The promise of payment.
that I will not be able to get another healer, so she is mandatory on the next one. So that will probably be your first time seeing her resolve tested. The runs. That is a very bad debuff, as you can see. And these aren't even good enough to make up for it. Her skill sets are I'm not gonna take her. So I'm gonna have to bring people who are already stressed on this next one. Oh, one person. This right here is probably gonna be the team. But that is it for this episode. Come back next time for more.